All right, this video is going to illustrate how to use the Zoom Annotation tools. The Zoom Annotation tools are very useful for the instructor to point out various different features on the slide and can be used when making a movie. They can also be used in live instruction and to solicit student responses to test for student understanding. So this is what the annotation toolbar appears like. Your toolbar will not appear on the student screens because it's simply a control bar that's given to the teacher to use. So I'm actually using a toolbar off of the screen right here where you can't see it, but it looks like this. And so the first tool I want to introduce here is the text tool, which is just pretty straightforward. If I wanted to type in here superior vena cava, for example, I could just type that in, and then I can use the select tool here to reposition it. So there's going to be a way I can move things into location. So again, that's just the text tool and then the select tool. Now, another very valuable feature to use here is the draw tool. So this one right here, so I'm going to choose the draw tool. And the draw tool allows me to point out various different types of things. So for example, if I wanted to show how blood enters the heart, I could say that blood comes down through the superior vena cava and comes up from the inferior vena cava, and it's going to go into the right atrium. So once again, I'll just use my text tool here and just label it right atrium. Now, again, the colors for these can change if I highlight those, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to change the format. So I'm going to click on this one right here. I can change the format there. And so now I can change it to a color that makes it a little bit easier to see. So once again, I can choose the select tool and I can reposition it there and just show the various different chambers of the heart or whatever I'm illustrating. So once again, if I'm going to use the draw tool, which is right there, I'm going to choose the draw tool, and let's say I wanted to show how the blood flows, then I could just use arrows and so forth to indicate blood flow, motion, and whatever other feature I'm looking at. So that's the arrow tool, which is one of the draw tool features right here. And again, let's say you may want to change the dimensions of that. You can do so under the format. So this format here is the key for actually changing the parameters. So let's say I click on the arrows there and I want to have a red one. I would click on the format again. I'm going to change it to red. Again, you can't see exactly what I'm doing because I'm working on the instructor one. And let's say I wanted to point out that that's the superior vena cava, I could do that. Now, some other features that are very useful to use in the draw feature right here would be the various different shape tools. So let's say that I wanted to use, let's say, the draw tool right here, pull it down to use what's called the kind of a semi-transparent rectangular tool. So here, like I can highlight a particular feature here and then Command Z or Control Z, I can just undo it there. So if I want to talk about a particular feature here, like the blood flowing down through the superior vena cava or up through the inferior cava, I can do that, and then I can just hit undo twice to undo the last two features. And so if you're making a recording, you can document something and then just undo it when you want to go to the next step. So you'll notice if I continue hitting the undos, you'll see that all the various different features here are going to disappear from the screen. And you can also just clear the screen using the clear tool to clear all of your different features. But let's say we're trying to illustrate something to our students. And let's say I wanted to use, let's say I'll just use the circular tool right here. So if I wanted to illustrate how blood is going to enter the right atrium and then go into the right ventricle and so forth, I can do those dots, or I could do it more like this. I could say, okay, let's do that. Now, if I want to actually track the motion, I can use the select tool. And then I can say, well, it comes in here, goes into the right atrium, and then it's going to go into the right ventricle. And from the right ventricle, it's going to go up here into the pulmonary aorta and eventually out into the lungs. All right, so that would be another way we can kind of animate our movies, is by using the draw tool features and then just repositioning. So that your creativity is going to be key here in terms of just illustrating the various different features you want to within your movie. But the Zoom annotation tools will give you tremendous flexibility in terms of animating your movie and being able to describe various different features in diagrammatic form or an overlay form.